So you want to know how to play
ELECTROCHARGED Wanderer.
Well, first you start with the build. Okay, let's admit it. Pre-C6 Faruzan is bad. She's so bad that even at 300 ER, she can't get her burst back up without taking field time and being a damage loss. I honestly felt so bad releasing my last Wanderer guide because I know what I said there about pre-C6 Faruzan is full of crap. No, she's not just a bit worse than Jean. She's practically the whole dumpster. So for those who don't have C6 Faruzan, like me, this guide is for you. For this team, you'll need a shielder, preferably Thoma, Layla, or Zhongli, one Hydro sub DPS, preferably Xingqiu or Yelan, and one Electro sub DPS, preferably fischl or Yae. To make artifact farming a little easier, rather than getting the best 4-piece set for Wanderer and his teammates, except for supports, we'll focus on getting their desired stats instead. For Wanderer, he can use any 2-piece of Viridescent Venerer, Desert Pavilion Chronicle, and any of the 2-piece attack sets. Do note that this team will be stronger if Wanderer uses a 4-piece Viridescent Venerer instead. So if you happen to have a decent 4-piece set while farming for your other Anemo characters, use that instead. For weapons, you can use Tulaytula's Remembrance and Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds for 5-star, and with Sith or Solar Pearl for 4-star. For his supports, Layla and Zhongli can use a 4-piece Tenacity, and Thoma can use a 4-piece Noblesse. Xingqiu and Yelan can use any 2-piece of HOD, Emblem, Noblesse, any of the 2-piece attack sets for Xingqiu, and Tenacity of the Millelith for Yelan. For fischl and Yae, they can use any 2-piece of Thundering Fury and any of the 2-piece attack sets. Do know that Yae is a skill bot in this team. She won't be using her burst, so she doesn't need ER. Just focus on building attack and crit. The rotation. Zhongli and Thoma have a longer shield duration, so their rotation is as follows. Start with Zhongli's skill, then switch to Xingqiu and use his skill and burst. Use his skill again if you're using a sacrificial sword. Then switch to fischl and use her burst. Switch to Wanderer and use a charge attack. Use his skill and do 2 normal attacks and 1 charge attack 4 times. Then use his burst.
Let me weave you a verse.
As you wish, mein Fräulein. Behold!
Layla has a shorter shield duration, so she should be placed before Wanderer. The rotation will be Xingqiu's skill and burst. Use his skill again if you have a sacrificial sword. Then switch to fischl and use her burst. Then switch to Layla and use her skill and burst. Then switch to Wanderer and use a charge attack. Use his skill and do 2 normal attacks and 1 charge attack 4 times. And use his burst.
Rain cutter. Wings of darkness. Come, my guiding stars. Don't be scared.
The pros and cons. Let's start with the advantages. They're excellent at single target scenarios, because all of the members of this team deal mostly single target damage. They have a straightforward and simple rotation. There's no need to go back and forth between characters to optimize their damage, and little to no ER issues, since the shielders, except for Thoma, and Yae don't need ER to work, and fischl, fischl, and Wanderer don't need to be batteried because they are the batteries. On to the disadvantages. Their electrocharge damage isn't strong enough for this team to become decent in AoE scenarios. This damage scales in EM, which isn't recommended to build for, because getting their hits to crit often is far stronger than dealing electrocharge damage from time to time. Another reason they can't be decent in AoE scenarios is that this team has no crowd control. Because the damage dealers are mostly single target, they're going to be slow at clearing mob stages, especially if the enemies are difficult to group. And that's it for
Electrocharged Wanderer.
I hope you liked this video. Leave any questions or suggestions you have in the comments and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. If you have any teams you'd like me to make a video on, also leave them in the comments. See you in another video!